everybody. Welcome into this week's episode of the Coach Nick Ledbetter Show. I'm Nick Hall, and joined as always, Coach Nick Ledbetter of the Plainview Bears. Coach, I know you probably feel like you're on a roller coaster at this point, don't you?
Yeah.
It seems like kind of up and down, but you know, we talked a little bit actually before we went on the air about injuries. Just kind of give us, we're 3 weeks in, and also you have the most brutal part of your schedule, which that's got to be a big disadvantage, right at the front of your season. You know, you don't have time to. You're not like Auburn and Alabama getting opened up with Kent State and Duke. You know, you come out of the gate against some just really brutal opposition. What's the health of your team at this point?
Well, overall, as far as our older kids that play on Friday night, we're as healthy right now as we're probably a little more healthy this week than was last week. We have lost one of our linebackers, our leading tackler. Not lost him; he's just out for a few more weeks. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him back towards the end of the season with a little foot injury. As far as injuries, it's our younger kids has taken a toll, and a couple of them I'd like to talk about. Caden Clifton, he's doing well. Broke his heel first day of practice this year. Had a kid land on him. It was one of those kind of freak accidents, and he's still at home recovering, doing rehab every day. And I'd like to mention his name. And we have another freshman that's found out that he has bone cancer in his femur. Blake Cleveland. He starts Monday and going to start his chemo. He'll do 3 months of chemo, and then he'll have surgery, and then do another 3 months of chemo. Sounds like they got a pretty good plan in place for him, and there was no other cancer anywhere else on him. So would ask everybody to be praying for him and his family, and we're excited to hope to get to see him real soon and encourage him and uplift him and help him keep fighting on the road that him and his family is going to have to go through over the next several months.
And that's one of those situations, if I heard, you correct me if I'm wrong, that actually a football injury is what took him to the doctor, and then that was discovered?
Well, he had some issues, what we had been thought, the trainers thought for probably about a month or maybe longer, just thought it was a quad muscle injury, but it just never got better.
Right.
And he finally, landed on it just right and hit it and hurt it and went to the doctor and they scanned it, and that's what they found. That's what it had been all along, but that's still
certainly
that takes football. Football is one thing, and that's totally different.
Absolutely, that puts things in perspective, and certainly our thoughts and prayers are with that family, and we ask everybody to continue to remember them. Looking back, I know sometimes you feel like you take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. What did you see? I know you made mention of some things you felt like you regressed on a little bit. What were the biggest issues you saw against Geraldine?
Well, the field position, offensively, we had struggled moving the ball early and really did the whole game. They got a really good defense, but our execution on stuff was not good at all. Our fire off on the ball was not very good at all. And we put our defense in really bad positions early in the game. We had some alignment issues on defense there in the early get-go, which cost us 2 fourth down touchdowns right off the bat. We had them held on fourth and goal, and they score, and had them held on 4th and goal again, and they score. And then later on we give up a punt return and then a pick six. And both of those are just daggers. You can't give up picks. You can't have pick sixes. Turnovers is one thing, but they don't need to take the ball and just take it all the way to the end zone. And when you punt, you got to be able to get out and cover. We did not get out and cover in the lanes we're supposed to be in and give up 6 points on a punt return, and then our kids kind of reverted back. And that's really when we started reverting backwards, where we had gotten a little better each day and each week, and then the week before we'd played our guts out and got better. And then from that point right there, we got worse. We played worse.
Do you think that was just a sort of a mental, success was too much and broke their concentration or focus?
Well, that's always a concern when you have an inexperienced team that hadn't been in the fire a lot. You wonder how they'll handle success. And I had all these team of the weeks, and of course I had prepared them for it on Sunday the week before, and I told them, people putting you up here on cloud 9.
Right.
People had you in the ditch the week before, but your mindset's got to be the same. You got to have that same mindset going into it, and I don't know if that affected it. If it didn't affect, I have no idea. I still struggle to try to figure out how kids in this day and age think, and I don't know. But we definitely didn't execute, had poor effort as the game went on, and was not very happy with all that.
Well, you talked about some misalignment issues. Was that, did Geraldine show you some looks that you had not seen before, or it was just lack of lining
Nerves.
up where you're supposed to? Yeah.
I think it was more nerves than anything. I
Right.
think we played that game scared to mess up instead of just playing.
Right.
Just playing
Right.
and scared to line up, And no, we didn't really have any issues through the week at practice on our alignment. But we did early on right there in the beginning. So we're kind of playing the same style offense this week, so it kind of gets us ready to fix those mistakes and see how well we can be from last week to this week, playing the same style offense if they'll spread it out a little more as well.
Well, was it more, did you see more an issue of just busted assignments and misalignments, or what did you see as far as effort?
It was more busted alignments than busted assignments.
Yeah.
Now we still don't understand the concept up front on the defensive line, which we've worked on that all week this week. I think we've gotten better at it. It's just padding, squeezing, staying at the line. I don't know if it's the pee-wee ball coming through or the junior high ball, or the ball snaps and you're going to run straight up field. You can't do that against run-heavy teams and wing T teams. Their job's to down block, kick, and route. And that's kind of what we want to do on offense too. We had some kids running up field, and they paid for it. You can't run up field when somebody's pulling the kicky. All you're doing is opening up the hole.
Well, pass is a pass, so let's go ahead and start looking at Susan Moore. I don't really know a lot about Susan Moore. I'm sure you do. You've watched the film on them. It's hard to gauge. We have to pick these teams every week in our picking contest, and so I do a little research. I try to go 2 or 3 levels deep, not just who did they beat, but then I look at who they've beat. See what their competition's like, and it's hard to get a read on Susan Moore. I know we played them a very hard-fought, close ball game and let that one, just go right through our fingers at the end. But do you think they're better or worse than they were last year?
Their quarterback, last year they were an open team, and did a lot of basically his own read and veer using their quarterback. The quarterback was a special player when it comes to reading the guy and sucking him in and making him wrong. He's gone, so they're not in that style offense anymore. They're more of a wing T style team now.
A lot like Geraldine.
It is. They're all wing T teams, so they're slightly different in some ways, but they are a lot in their alignment like Geraldine. They have a little bit wider splits, and they block some things different than what you would traditionally do in the wing T. But they'll also spread you out. They'll go trips and stuff like that as well. So make sure if you got to have the right personnel on the field so you can handle all situations from wing T to spread. But they got seven seniors that started last year that's back. As far as starters in general, I think they probably have 8 or 9 starters back on both sides of the ball. So, and that fact alone, I'd say they're better all the way across. They're better up front, and they're better on defense. And they don't have that quarterback there, but what they're doing now is instead of having one really good back, that same really good back is back, and now they got some more good backs that they're able to get the ball to. So,
Right.
They're more dimensional, I guess, this year than they were last year.
Talk a little bit about, and this is kind of taking a step backward. I know you've talked about depth being an issue, and you can't really afford injuries this year. How big of a component is that as you get to the fourth quarter? You got a lot of guys playing both ways. Just fatigue factor.
Oh, it's huge. It's not only the fourth quarter in the game in a sense, when you got kids on the field playing both ways, but by now we should be used to playing. We should be in pretty good shape.
Right.
You can run kids all you want to, but game shape and playing both ways is
Right.
it's a little bit different. You got to make sure the kids take care of their body and eat right and put fluids in their body. If they'll do that, they'll usually survive 4 quarters till they get their in-game shape pretty well. I've been fairly pleased with that at times on 2 or 3 kids. I've not, but some of the ones that I've not been pleased with has got low body fat. They're not thick kids by no means, and I think that's what's hurt them more than anything.
Right.
Their bodies they don't have enough fat storage to
Right,
help them out,
right.
so that's hurt some of them. But most of the depth hurts us more in practice than anything. Because if Johnny doesn't have anybody behind to push him and make him better, then Johnny's going to stay the same. Johnny's not going to get better.
Right. Right.
That's more of an issue at practice than it is in a game.
I've
And it's an issue
actually
in a
not
game.
thought of that aspect of it, but that is a big aspect.
It's an issue. It is an issue in the game as well. But just getting our kids better Monday through Thursday before the game, it's a bigger issue.
Right. Well, looking at Susan Moore, you talked a little bit about their offense. How do you think we match up against them offensively, defensively? What's the plan of attack?
Defensively, we're going to kind of do some of the same stuff we did last week.
Just try to do it better.
We just got to be better at it. We got to play at the line of scrimmage, and our linebackers, they read it fairly decent against Geraldine, but they were just slow on the fence. We got to have them plugging the hole a little faster than what they did. And our overhang guys has got to do a better job with their eyes. We had some. You're playing that style of offense, you got to have good eye discipline, and our eye discipline was not good at all last week. So hopefully, we've gotten better on that. And on the other side of the ball, we know they're not a team that stunts. They're going to line up in a four-man front. They're going to have three linebackers, and they're going to have to be two high safety. And they're going to do one thing, and they're going to do one thing well. I mean, we don't. It's not a guessing game of what you're going to get. It's can we execute this play or not?
Well, of course, this is just Wednesday. You've had two practices, and I'm sure you watched film on Geraldine. Have you seen the light bulb come on with some of the guys up front? I mean, do they realize, okay, that's where I messed up?
Well, again, you go back to these.
You hope.
I'm hoping to have. I mean, we've covered it as best we can. Had an okay practice Monday. Had a really, really good practice yesterday. One of the better ones we've had this year. So we'll see how today goes. And we got to keep grinding and getting better every day.
Well, talk about them defensively. What do they try to do? What kind of schemes or?
Well, they're 4-3. They're going to be four down, too high. They don't really play cover two. It's more of a cover four look, but it's a two shell safety. They don't blitz very much. They have some, but it's not enough to say, hey, this is a down and situation where they're coming after you. I mean, they're pretty much do the same thing all game long.
How effective are they at stopping the run?
Well, they have some guys up front that you can't just go at. You got to double them off, and if you have somebody that slips off, you'll be in trouble. They got 2 or 3 guys up front that's pretty impressive. One in particular that's very good. It's very impressive.
Well, I know that's one of the issues when you've got a young quarterback. Most folks will, load up the box and say, beat us throwing if you can. And so that's probably an issue you'll be looking at a lot this year, with a sophomore quarterback. But, like I said, I don't know that much about, I can speak fairly intelligently on most of these teams here in DeKalb County and Jackson County too. But Susan Moore, with this new, with these new regional alignments, you've always got 1 or 2 outliers, that you don't get to read a lot of articles on. You don't know what's going on. But anyway, I just look at what they did last year, and I didn't know how many guys they lost, and that's the big thing. Mentally, you just talking about you had good practices, performance-wise, focus. That's the toughest thing, too. And we talked about it being a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster for the kids too, and I know probably they bring some of it on themselves, but still, you go out, you get knocked down, you get back up, you have to fight and battle, and you get a win, and then you come back and you get knocked down. What's the mental attitude been like this week?
It's actually been pretty good. Our film was it was a bad day to come watch film.
Right.
If you was on the field, it was just mistake after mistake, execution after execution, effort after effort. D-line running up field, not keeping our eyes disciplined. I mean, on all the way around, special teams, not getting out and covering on punt. We got to we got to work from the top to the bottom and side to side. I mean, we just got to get better every day, and we've hammered that pretty well. Tried to anyway on Sunday, and Monday, like I said, Monday was okay. Monday was a really good defensive day. Offensively, we struggled a little bit, but Tuesday went well, and the kids was bouncing around. Lively yesterday and got after it very well yesterday. So I was very pleased with Tuesday, and I'm hoping we'll have the same practice today.
talk a little bit about that. For a lot of people don't know what's your 1 week routine during the season. Of course, you play on Friday night. Saturday's an off day.
Yeah, Saturday's an off day. I mean, really Sunday is too. We try to bring the kids in for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and we try not to keep them very long, and we really don't take them out. I'd like to run them a little bit, get some soreness out, and I wouldn't mind to get under a squat rack with them some, but we try to let them have Saturday and for the most part Sunday too. So they come in and watch film on Sunday, and then we try to get them out of there, and then we get to work as coaches, and we'll work depending on our opponent and depending on what's new that we're having to prepare for that week. Depends on how long we stay up there and work. I think the earliest we've been home is about 8:30 and 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening. But then Monday and Tuesday just meat potato days.
Right.
We cover a little bit of special teams on both sides. Try to get some of our heavy hitting and thudding on those 2 days.
Right.
And we're full pads, and we're trying to get after each other and get our game plan in and perfect it and get better and better. And Wednesday we kind of polish up. And we take some of our endo and group stuff out. We'll do some group stuff on Wednesday, but it's pretty much special teams, group work, and then right into the team, offensive and defensive. And then Thursdays, we walk through, make sure we hit everything, make sure all of our personnel's right, and we do it again on Fridays. We have another walkthrough on Fridays, and then we play on Friday.
Well, that's interesting, and a lot of these kids, you've had a pretty good routine as far as being at home for the first 3 weeks. Now the competition hasn't been too routine. Again, getting that brutal part of the schedule up front, but first road game, and that's going to be an opportunity. Winning at home is one thing. Winning on the road is something completely different, and especially in Region 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and last year they had big crowd. I got to watch them play more than we played them last year, and I was able to watch them play. I know one more time. I was thinking twice because of either Thursday night games or us having a bye week because of who they were playing and we were about to play. But they bring good crowds, and they're loud, and it'll be a hostile environment at Susan.
Right.
They have a nice facility to play at, and we'll have our hands full just with being on the way side in general. Plus, they're a good football team, and they beat a real good football team last week.
Well, we want to really make sure Plainview has a good crowd. Go on the road this week. First road game for the Plainview Bears this year, going down to Susan Moore to face the Bulldogs again. Region games, so very important and easy to find. Just go down 75 through Albertville and down below Sneed's Crossroads. I'm not sure how far below Sneed's Crossroads. Not too far.
It's not far. You go
not
hang a
far.
right.
Down there on the right. And want to make sure these kids have a lot of support. So everybody make the effort to go out. I don't know what the weather is supposed to be like. I'm sure it'll be hot, because that's all it is now is hot. But again, it's tough to go on the road in Region 7, especially against a quality opponent like Susan Moore. Coach, we thank you for joining us again today, and just get out and support the Bears.
Folks, this is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City, and I want to invite everybody to come down here and see us. We're located at 1015 Galt Avenue South here in downtown Fort Payne, and I want everybody to come down and check out our inventory. Bobby always keeps the inventory refreshed. We've got new stuff coming in every single day, a lot of stuff going out every day. Listen, we appreciate everybody in the area coming down here, letting us earn your business. I'm telling you what, this year's been great for us, and every year we get nominated and then we get voted in as the best in DeKalb. So I want to tell everybody we appreciate y'all doing that for us. Let us know we're doing everything right. So y'all come down here and see us, 1015 Galt Avenue South. You can shop us on the web at Twin City Used Cars, or you can just give us a call at 256-844-2210.
At First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, we excel within the walls of our bank and outside these walls too. We're actively working with area schools to improve classrooms and supporting area student athletes on fields and courts. We work and worship at most churches in the Rainsville community. We also work to enhance the lives of area seniors, thanking them for a lifetime of contributions. We're the bankers and corporate citizens at First Southern State Bank. True community banking.